Hi, I'm Kerry from Bromide Dub, and I'm just going to quickly explain my current DJ setup. A lot of people ask me what hardware and software I use when I'm out DJing, so I thought I'd just give you a quick run through of what I am currently using. My setup changes a lot, so if you actually see me play in a month's time it might be completely different, but at the moment, if I'm taking all my hardware out and doing it just how I want to do it, this is what you're going to see. So my current setup rotates around the Rain Empath mixer. It's simply the best mixer I've found that is both a scratch capable mixer and also a long style 3-channel mixer. I'm using Traktor Pro software, so I can mix on 3 or 4 decks at the same time. The sound's going through a Native Instruments Audio 8 sound card, although when I'm doing live shows I'll sometimes swap this out for the RME Fireface I actually have as well. So I've got 3 channels coming out of Traktor going to the 3 channels on the Empath, and then the 4th channel is actually a send and return effects channel, so I'm just using it as an audio through inside Traktor, and what that does is it gives me essentially a delay effect on the flex effects here that I can select for dry and wet. I use this when in the mix, and I also use it for when I am scratching, that I can just throw a delay or a reverb sort of effect over the cuts themselves. By doing it this way, it means that it is post crossfader, post up fader, rather than the signal coming in having a delay over everything. So that's the main mixing environment. I'm still mixing traditionally using the EQs, the gains, and the filters, and the upfaders on the actual mixing desk. For a while I was mixing all inside the computer, but now I've got a turntable out again and I have the scratch timecode controlling that. I can just turn the actual timecode control on or off just at a flick of a button using the 1D, so I can do some scratches and then drop it back into internal mode, and I've got the 3 decks all running internally and syncing. Hit another button, I can do some cuts, or I can do drop scratches or drop mixes, hit it back and have it all synced back up, so I can basically switch on that scratch side, the timecode control, just whenever I want it. I used to use a BCR 2000 for this, but now I've actually swapped that out for a Zone 1D, simply because of the layout of the controller. And essentially I have it set up so that I have a transport control, which I can play and nudge and pull the same way you nudge or pull a record, just for when tracks are loaded up. I do try and load up the beat grids beforehand, so they do generally sync pretty good, but occasionally you just need something that the feel isn't quite right and you just need to nudge it back and forth a bit. I've got these keys set up so when I scroll up and down on my playlist through this button, I hit a button, it loads up the track, syncs the track, and cup plays it at the first load beat. So essentially all I need to do is choose my tune, hold that, as soon as I want to drop it in, let that go, and the next track has come in and it's synced together and it's basically playing in time. So that's those 3 tracks there. That one sets internal the absolute relative mode for the vinyl, so I can switch between the 3rd channel being timecoder, controller, internal sync. These controllers here, I haven't labelled them all up yet, but I'm in the process of. Essentially let me also do some other functionality, selecting tracks, syncing tracks, stopping tracks when I need to do something apart from just the load and play. This function lets me browse through all my tracks, and also both the list and the tree section inside Traktor, depending whether or not I push and hold it down or I just rotate it that way. And in addition, whenever I hold that down, all the controls generally do something else in regards to a utility of some description. We have 3 channels of loop activation and loop length, and a 4th channel which I'm not using at the moment, but more than likely will set a loop for all of them and control it that way. These controllers here control the dry wet of the effects and the parameters of the 1st and the 2nd effect units. If I hold this button here on a channel, it engages the 3rd effect, which is a reverse, and also changes that so it controls the parameter of the 3rd effect without changing the parameters of the 2nd effect. Let it go, I'm controlling the 2nd effect again, and that effect turns off. Hold that button, the dry and wets instead turn into filters, so I can do filter sweeps. Again, I let go of that button, it turns filter back off and resets them back to 0 points. So I can provide a filter sweep, let it go, it's back to there, and until I go back to where I was, it's a soft takeover for the MIDI control. These here controlling the delay that's permanently set up on the flex effects through the end path. Again, a dry and a wet feedback ratio. This engages the sync or the free time. That effectively turns the delay send off but just leaves the delay going, and then this one resets all the settings on the actual delay itself. Set up here I have permanent control over 3 internal decks inside Tractor and additional delay line that I can use through this mixer. I'm able to go out just with the 1D for the MIDI control, leave the mixer at home if I don't have space to plug that in, and also I've got all shortcut keys set up in Tractor as well, so even if I can't fit anything or I'm just quickly DJing somewhere and didn't really have a chance to bring all the gear along, I can do a lot of it just internally with a computer and keyboard shortcuts. But obviously having this full setup, then you're going to get the things where you're hearing a lot more effects, you're hearing scratches with the effects, and I guess advanced mixing styles that I can only do when I've kind of got the customized or ideal setup for the way I work. So that was just a quick overview of how my DJ setup works. If you ever see me out and about and want to pick my mind on it, anyone who knows me knows I love talking about this side of it and the technology involved in DJing and producing. So please come up, say hello, introduce yourself, and hit me up with any questions or any thoughts you might have. Other than that, hope to see you on a dance floor soon. See you later.